President Cyril Ramaphosa has announced an inquiry to determine the fitness of Advocate Andrew Chauke to hold office as the Gauteng Director of Public Prosecutions. Ramaphosa suspended Chauke on the 20th of July on full pay, pending the finalization of the inquiry. He faces several allegations, including his decision not to prosecute former crime intelligence Richard Nhlanhla for murder in 2023, as well as the withdrawal of state capture cases. The inquiry will be chaired by retired Justice Baitse Elizabeth Ngabine, with Advocate Elizabeth Baloyi-Mere and Attorney Tinjiwe Vilakazi as additional members.
In terms of the Constitution, the National Prosecuting Authority Act, and the rules of natural justice, an inquiry as regards to the allegations made against any director of public prosecutions must be conducted fairly and impartially. The inquiry will look into certain serious allegations regarding Advocate Chauke's fitness and propriety to hold office as a director of public prosecutions and as a member of the National Prosecuting Authority.
All right, joining us now is Athol Trollip from ActionSA. Mr. Trollip, thank you so much for your time and joining us this afternoon. What's ActionSA's reaction to now the President having set up this inquiry?
Good afternoon, Katleho, and good afternoon to your viewers. I can say that our reaction is probably better late than never. The National Director of Public Prosecutions, Nhlanhla Batoy, had asked for the suspension of Andrew Chauke more than 2 years ago. And finally, he was suspended in July. And now, towards the end of September, the President has launched this inquiry. And all I can think is that the pressure is being brought to bear under the spotlight of the Mkhwanazi inquiry by retired Justice Nhlanhla and the allegations of a compromised police service, National Prosecuting Authority, and also our justice system. So I think this is long overdue, and Andrew Chauke, as per your introductory comments, has been involved in some very bizarre prosecutorial decisions. And we as ActionSA have been waiting for this decision for a long time, and we hope that the inquiry will be speedily concluded and that Andrew Chauke will be removed permanently from his position as Provincial Director of Public Prosecutions. Too many people have benefited from walking away scot-free under his leadership of the Gauteng prosecutorial arm.
I mean, you say that it's better late than never. Of course, the ActionSA has always criticized the President for his slow actions towards ensuring that Chauke needs to be held accountable. Do you think that now the time and the wheels of justice are turning a little faster?
I think they are turning faster, and as I said, the glare of public scrutiny has certainly speeded them up a bit. But the National Prosecuting Authority has been under public scrutiny for a long time. You'll recall that we even called for the suspension of Nhlanhla Batoy because she has presided over really quite a catastrophic period for the National Prosecuting Authority. But the fact that she had approached the President to suspend Chauke years ago is in itself an indication that Chauke is probably akin to the rotten apple in the barrel that has made the rest of the apples rotten.
And you mentioned, the Nhlanhla Commission. What's your take on some of these issues now coming to the fore and action being taken only once General Mkhwanazi has put out some of these allegations, and that which we are now seeing unfold at the Nhlanhla Commission for action to be taken against, like you mentioned, a Chauke, whose some of these allegations have been in the public eye and also put together by Nhlanhla Batoy as back as 2023?
Well, I think what has happened with this Nhlanhla Commission is that General Mkhwanazi had got tired of taking matters of concern to the Police Portfolio Committee in Parliament. And it appears that the Police Portfolio Committee was either asleep at the wheel or intentionally ignored his pleas and his allegations. So he eventually called a press conference and made some very profound and far-reaching public allegations against the Minister of Police and other senior police officers. And now what we're seeing is that there's much talk about the fact that the rot goes much further than the police services. It goes into the National Prosecuting Authority, and that there's collaboration between police officers and prosecutorial officers and even our courts of law. So hopefully this is the beginning of the end of a period of rampant corruption in our law enforcement services in South Africa. People have been getting away literally with murder and bleeding this country dry through corruption, and no legal action has been taken place, and we've seen no prosecutions of senior political figures or people linked to senior political figures. So I'm quite excited that this is a period of maybe a turnaround and perhaps a renewal for our country.
You speak about that turnaround and renewal, and you also spoke on how too many have walked away scot-free. What do you think has really gotten us to this point as a country where corruption is rampant, like you're saying, and it's even gotten to a point where it seems as though it's really out of control?
Well, look, I think voters must take very careful heed of what's happening in our country, because for 30 years, we had a government with an arrogant majority that could simply do as they pleased and commission commissions of inquiry like the Zondo Commission and then sweep all of that evidence under the carpet. There's now a new political dispensation in Parliament where no one political party has a majority. And now, of course, the impunity that comes with an arrogant majority has gone. So now political parties that are in the GNU are starting to feel the pressure of the rest of Parliament saying, no, we want this scrutinized and we want to get to the bottom of the truth, about what's happening in our security services, in our intelligence services and in our justice department. So this is good. This is really what democracy is all about, when majoritarian power is taken away from one party and it's balanced out by having coalitions where no one party has a majority. And this is really, really good for South Africa. And I hope that the voters see how much power they actually have and that they can continue to make use of this significant democratic power to hold governments to account.
Now, with the official inquiry established into Advocate Chauke, on a broader scale, what do you think could be the result or the impact of a threatened credibility of the NPA?
Well, it might just lead to the start of the cleaning out of the messy Aegean stables. Our justice and prosecutorial and our criminal and intelligence services have become really infested with corruption. And maybe this is just the start of a clean out, which has been long awaited in South Africa, because crime has taken the forefront of everything. People live in fear in their homes. Women are under the most unimaginable burden of gender-based violence. In the Cape Flats, we're seeing children being shot every single day, innocent children caught up in the crossfire of gang warfare. Things are just completely out of control in this country. And if we can start turning it around brick by brick and looking and putting a magnifying glass on all of these structures of state that deal with justice, that deal with prosecutions and deal with the police, then maybe we can start fixing our country. And if we have a safer country, we'll be able to attract more investment, and more investment will create more jobs and then more prosperity for everyone in South Africa. So these are really important days, and we look forward to this commission doing its work and coming to a conclusion that will take South Africa forward.
Is it important that the duration of some of these commissions is really tightened and we don't sit through many of them over a long period of time with us not exactly getting accountability from those who need to be held accountable?
Well, I think it's very important that commissions of inquiry are not interminable. They must have a defined term. And I think I want to commend the media in this country, and thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you. The role of the media in bringing pressure to bring these matters to conclusion is fundamentally important. Otherwise, they just get lost in the mist of time and people lose focus. And then, people's daily lives and the pressures that come with it make people forget. But I'm astounded at how South Africans have been glued to their television sets watching the unfolding of the Nhlanhla Commission, and we will watch the unfolding of this commission to investigate the fitness of Andrew Chauke. with the same kind of intrigue and intense interest as we've seen with the Nhlanhla Commission.
All right, so that's ActionSA's Athol Trollip giving us a reaction to President Ramaphosa ordering the inquiry into Advocate Andrew Chauke's fitness to hold office.